Well, Arsenal have gone ahead to receive what we call a Mikel Merino huge recovery boost. Welcome to this channel. We go by the names of It's the Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really having fun, and we're here to bring you the latest news and information as far as everything is concerned. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you are watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And we're also going to be talking about Aston Villa that have gone ahead obviously win their first Champions League game. Their manager is really spouting fire and looking like he's ready to obviously take on everyone that he's really going to be facing. Carabao Cup is taking place and the Champions League is also taking place, and we all know that Arsenal is really going to be playing on to Thursday. We thank God for the gift of life, and we do thank Allah for the gift of life in there for the Muslims. And you're powered by Mono Gadgets, dealers in phones, laptops that are really brand new. Even if you need used phones and used laptops from the United Kingdom, you can as well contact them on that number +256 70 99 88 665. And after all that is done, you'll obviously find yourself in a situation of really seeing that the side of yourself in as far as gadgets are really concerned really gets happy. You can also follow them on TikTok, search for Mono Gadgets, and the rest is really gonna be history in the making. Now, let's obviously start it off with Mikel Merino, who really went ahead to obviously get himself injured in the first training session of Arsenal, and that's why you saw that they never even brought us footage of this guy who is really injured. Before we obviously coming through and obviously look through what Arteta had to say, we've gone ahead to obviously get a very huge story coming in through from a journalist known as Josh Holland, who really writes for the Football London. He writes for Liverpool FC and Man United and Manchester United Evening News. And he comes out to say that Arsenal star Mikel Merino seems to be growing closer to making his debut for the club of Arsenal after he fractured his shoulder in his first training session. Theories online have emerged noticing a slight change to Merino's recovery, celebrating David Raya's birthday on Sunday evening. Following the North London derby win over Tottenham, Merino was spotted without a sling on his shoulder while clapping as the birthday cake was brought to the table. By the way, that shows you that there is what we call a huge hint onto what we call the injury, because the last time we saw him, you remember when we went to the international break, that game where they drew with Brighton by 1-1, he was seated in the executive suite and that sling was really around his arm, and it was really good to see to it that right now there is no sling on his shoulder when he was obviously doing the due diligence in what we call the birthday celebrations of David Raya. And you know, he's his fellow Spanish guy and they connect together a lot, and it looks like Mikel Arteta had a plan to bring in a Spanish player, as he felt like he had a Spanish player who was a loner, and he was like, why should I obviously keep this man as a loner, you understand? And he was like, let me get in a Spanish person. And that's why you see to it that when celebrating the birthday, guess who he's celebrating the birthday with? He's celebrating the birthday with none other than Mikel Merino. So that is a very huge hint that we should obviously give a very huge focus onto, because that shows that the guy is really healing. And if at all he's clapping his hands in a very normal way, that's another factor for us obviously coming through and look at and really understand that, all right, things have gone ahead to emerge into the best way possible for the club of Arsenal. And for Mikel Merino as a player, I think he's missed, and Arsenal will obviously need him on several occasions into this beautiful game of football. And we believe that after the next international break he might return, but never be shocked that in the last two games of Arsenal, I think they'll be playing against PSG and Southampton, he might obviously come back and really put in a very huge shift, because he might be healing at a very fast rate. That he is the man himself, known as Mikel Merino. And After this journalist of the Football London spilling the beans about how healing this guy is, let's hear from the manager, Mikel Arteta, who is really responsible for really talking to the physios onto how far Mikel Merino is, or Mikel Merino has gone ahead to obviously reach. Now, Mikel Arteta on Mikel Merino's injury. This is what he had to say. It's better. It's a slow process because it's a bone and it takes a while to heal. He's progressing well and he is already doing some stuff. He's working extremely hard and we are using this time to make sure that he understands a lot of things that he has that he has a lot of questions about, and when he's back he's ready to go and impact the team. So for Mikel Merino, he's that player that you will need to obviously get himself, all surround himself with the club of Arsenal and know exactly what they are really good or willing to do. That is the club of Arsenal. And the manager is like, the healing is slow, but because it's a fracture of a bone, he needs to obviously get a slow heal. But they're using this time to nurture him into knowing Arsenal better and better and better. And in the due course of really knowing Arsenal better and better, a lot will obviously come into his way and nothing will stop him from obviously becoming that kind of person that will put in the required shift altogether. And that is what he's really bringing onto the table. And the manager has gone ahead to give us a huge hint about the player, meaning that it's a slow process, but the player is really healing and giving the manager something great. Now, today, obviously, the side of Manchester United has come up. The side of Aston Villa has gone ahead to take part into the Champions League, and they've gone ahead to beat Young Boys by 3-0. Yuri Tielemans, 27th minute. Jacob Ramsey doubled the lead in the 38th minute, and then Amadou Onana has gone ahead to obviously score in the 86th minute for the club of Aston Villa. And Aston Villa itself have gone ahead to obviously come up and obviously register the following stats into this beautiful kind of game all together. And that is the side of Aston Villa. And they had, Young Boys had 12 shots at goal, and Aston Villa had 5 shots on target by Young Boys, then 7 shots on target by Aston Villa, 47% ball possession by Young Boys, and 53% ball possession by Aston Villa, 363 passes by Young Boys, 405 passes for Aston Villa, 83 passes completed by 83% passing accuracy by Young Boys, and Aston Villa had 85%. Then 14 fouls committed by Young Boys, 12 fouls committed by Aston Villa, 4 yellow cards to Young Boys and 1 yellow card to the side of Aston Villa. Then 0 red cards to the side of Aston Villa, and no red card was issued to the side of Aston Villa. Then 4 offsides to the side of Young Boys, and 0 offsides to the side of Aston Villa, 3 corners to the side of Young Boys, and 6 offsides to the side of 6 corners to the side of Aston Villa. And this is how Villa is really ranking on top of how many teams? These are 36 teams. Aston Villa is still on top, you get? And they've gone ahead to score 3 goals, meaning that no team has gone ahead to obviously score 3 goals so far. And Bayern Munich is the one that has 3 goals, and they're like, they want to obviously go ahead of Aston Villa. The Juventus went ahead to beat PSV also, I think by, it was 3-1. Then Liverpool is leading AC Milan by 2-1. Sporting Lisbon is also having what we call a 1-goal lead. Real Madrid, it's 0-0. BFB Stuttgart is also playing with Real Madrid. Other teams are really playing tomorrow, and others are really going to be playing onto a Thursday. You understand? So that's what the Champions League will look like onto its maiden day, when its former really went ahead, obviously change. Then Unai Emery, after really getting in that first win at Aston Villa in the Champions League, said, the first message I can send them is I want to be competitive and face each team tomorrow. Sorry, said young boys. And after young boys, Bayern Munich being competitive like we are in the Premier League, meaning that they are hosting Bayern Munich at home, and it's really going to be one of the most important bits of it all to really put in the required shift all together, and that will be something great. Then he also said, we know how difficult it is to play again in the Champions League, more or less through the Premier League. There are 7 to 8 teams being favorites, all contenders to get it. So that's what the manager really went ahead to say. So I call upon for your reactions into the comment section about Mikel Merino huge recovery boost at Arsenal. A welcome in the comment section below. And what do you think about Aston Villa winning that game of football against young boys and in a convincing way altogether? So we sign out for now. See you later. Second video of the day, and I'm really going to be coming up with a live video to really discuss more about the Champions League games that are really taking place. And Manchester United is having 5 goals and Barnsley is having just 0. I'm out. Bye bye.